It's a little different view. I think I'll use these other collars. I found these Mercy collars that I like better. And these red cheap clip things I've been using. So we'll use those today. Plus it'll give me a chance to get my stuff off of this bar. I'll do some what I call neck thrusters in between sets. So I try to keep my neck somewhat fat. I have dropped about 16 to 18 pounds depending on when I stand on the scale in a day, but and I bought these this wireless mic, I think just so I could get away with walking off, but I have to remember if I go use the restroom that take the microphone off. That would be embarrassing. I think it has enough range. Alright, so obviously a 4-way neck machine would be nice to own. One of these days I may just buy a used hammer strength one off eBay. But until then I just do front to back, back to front, and that's about it. We'll get eventually around to find another one. Alright, I think I did this. Weird when you get old, you can't remember what you've done, what you haven't. We'll turn on some extra lighting. Myself a little sunburn. I was just thinking, I use this belt squat for a lot of stuff. I could actually do standing one arm presses. I've got the attachments. I just have to do something with it. Oh wow, alright, hello everybody. Nice to see I got a few people watching. Doing seated military press. And it's on a utility bench. So sometimes people will sit there and say, oh, you're doing incline. Yeah, there is a little bit of incline to the bench. You would find if you went to not saying that person doesn't go to the gym, but if you find the fixed military bench, it has a slight incline to it, right? So this is not incline bench press. Now, can one turn this into an incline bench press? Yeah, with really bad form. I think with me, because I do have a bit of a beer belly, that kind of can give off that shape, right? I do have my back all the way against the back, and then obviously the upper part of the back can go over the bench. But when I'm doing this, I feel primarily shoulders. Will there be a little bit of my upper pecs? There might be a little bit. Definitely nothing like when you're doing incline bench press. Alright, so eventually I'll get up to about 200 pounds. We have lost a significant amount of weight, so I'm getting weaker every time I do this exercise. As I slim down, I don't want to call it like we're going through a cutting phase, but basically we're going through a cutting phase. Going to get down to about 255 here within the next 4 weeks, which is significant amount of weight loss. Oh yeah, definitely a slight incline is good. I do enjoy doing standing overhead press, but that is not so great for the back, right? Heavier you go, the more you feel it back there. And I obviously can't do as much weight standing as you can do seated. You know, if you're not going to use any leg drive, right? That's the whole point of doing a standing one, not to use leg drive, even though there are versions where people will use a little bit of leg. So we can keep putting 10s on here, but I think we'll go ahead and replace these with a 45. I actually feel a little better this week. Last week I did this and we were hurting, folks. Did not have a good workout, except like one set out of the whole thing was good. So, not that we're obviously not sponsored, but I do use primarily cap weights on this channel, cap dumbbells, cheap cap bars. That's all we can afford. I say that I've got a mixture. This area of the gym is got all the cap stuff. There's VTX, which are my favorite weights because they're a lot more accurate weight wise. Like when it says 45, it's within a few ounces, where these cap ones can weigh as much as 46 pounds. And then I have that was my other set somewhere around here. Well, we got a mixture of other crap, but standard barbell, that's right. We've got balance round plates, then I've got bumper plates, all kinds of crap. Yeah, I wish I had my iPad working again, so this would be a little more interactive. Let's see, Julian. I've been starting to do heavy back squats. I wouldn't say it hurt, but what does it say? But my lower back felt a little more tired than my legs. Oh yeah. I know how that goes. I don't know how old you are, Julian, but I'm no spring chicken, and definitely amazing how the muscles can feel great the next day, but the back may not. even on this exercise, I may feel perfect after lifting 200 some pounds, and then my back will be sore later or the next day, but gotta keep lifting. Just don't go too crazy. Alright, we're gonna do another set of what I call neck thrusters over here off camera. So this exercise to me though is amazing. Obviously bench press, you lose weight, you lose strength, but I wasn't expecting this to affect me as much as it has. You can watch some of the videos on this channel, but I was up doing 225 for 6 reps. And now I bet I can't do 2. After losing 16 pounds, so yep. And it's not feeling like a warm-up set like it used to. So we'll go 155. The goal will be 155. 175, 195, and then maybe 205. And I'm panting a little bit. So I bought some cheap pre-workout from Walmart. I think it was Walmart. It doesn't seem to have the same effects as the more expensive crap I had been buying. I might have to go back to that. It's not giving me the same kick. Alright, we'll go over here off camera again. Another set of these guys. So, one thing that's always fun having your own weightlifting channel is comments you'll get from viewers about your form or this or that. Somebody was giving me crap about hammer curls the other day, and you know, obviously you start off light, your form's good, right? You go heavy, it starts to get worse. Then you go really heavy, you're using momentum. You're still getting something out of it though. And it cracks me up some of the comments you get though. But I was watching Jay Cutler, who obviously has won Mr. Olympia, right? Back in the day. His form, you know, for hammer curls, when he goes a little heavier, kind of sucks too. So I don't know, work for him. All right, so we got 155 on here. I'm gonna put my first elbow sleeve on. Make sure that it elbow's nice and warm. A little bit of compression on it. We'll go to the thicker elbow sleeve when I get the set after this one, which may provide a little performance boost, but mainly I'm doing it to protect the elbow. nice thing about the utility bench, which has, one day I'm going to measure it. When I look at this thing from the side, it's trying to figure out what angle it is, but the camera is a little tricky, you know, where you guys are, where you see, but it's I'd say anywhere from 75 to 80 degrees. You know, we're inclined 30 to 45 degrees. But the nice thing about this is obviously your head's out of the way when you're doing the exercise. As I pan a little bit. Whew, it's the only thing I don't necessarily like about having this microphone attached to me. Besides the quality of the mic not probably being that good. You guys can hear everything, every breath I take. So we'll do 175 here. I gotta stretch out. I'm supposed to be doing starting some physical therapy stuff for an injury I have. Supposed to be stretching out. Haven't been doing a good job of that. But we'll get there. Alright, we'll do another set down here. Wait for you guys. Yeah, I bought these new, I buy a lot of crap. My other channels, you know, where I make money, I don't make shit off this channel, but I bought these new Marcy clips, which allow you to adjust the tension. And one of the things I don't like about the other clips that I have, like these things, obviously these cheap spring clips, they wear out. They don't really keep the weights, in my opinion, that tight. And then there's the other ones you find commonly at gyms these days. These guys, no adjustment in the tension, and kind of a pain in the ass to get off sometimes. But I bought those. I was wanting to use my Olympic dumbbells to occasionally do hammer curls with instead of. I've got the dumbbells, right, but there's some weights I don't have over there, so I wanted to be able to load up the dumbbells and, you know, using micro weights, if you guys are familiar with those. Not that there's that many people watching right now, but somebody may watch this video after the fact. On Amazon, maybe Walmart, they have these things called micro gains plates. So there's I'm not holding it, somewhere around here I have a quarter pounder. This is half pounder, so they give you a set of those. There's a 3/4 pounder, and then there's 1 pounders. So you can, obviously, with the Olympic dumbbells, you can make just about any size weight you want under, you know, well, let me just say, supposedly you can make like a 300 or 400 pound dumbbell if you wanted to, but people doing rows, you know, could put a lot of 10s on there. However, some people maybe put 25s on there, right? The bigger the weight plate, the more you're getting away from your body, the worse your form is. Now with doing a hammer curl, I wanted to go with the thinnest 5-pound plates, be able to stack those on there. And so, but what I was finding, the collars that I have can't hold the weight very well, and it becomes dangerous. Where these these things work pretty good, and then they're relatively cheap, like $10 a piece, or excuse me, $10 for a pair. I bought 2 sets, so I can put 2 on each end of the Olympic dumbbell and feel secure that it will hold up way more weight than I'm going to curl with. So that was a good thing. All right, we got 175 on here. I used to sometimes switch to a different elbow sleeve for both arms. I kind of like a 1-ply. We'll skip that one though. The next set I will put some heavier ones on. I actually lied. I think I'll do 175 and then 185, and we'll see where we go from there. I don't know if the mic can hear my elbow popping like crazy, but that didn't sound good to me. Alright, so I want to take these 2 10s off. We'll put a 25 on here. And who knows what we'll do after that. Until I can bulk back up, I might be best to just do more reps. But hard to get that out of your system once you get to a point. You want to keep going heavy. You know, as I was saying, I lost weight, right? So you'll see on the channel, I've also figured out my 1 rep max on here, or not figured, but I actually did it. At a body weight of about 282, I 1 rep maxed about what I weigh right now. I was hoping that one day I would be able to 1 rep max my own body weight. But now that I'm down to 264-ish, I don't think there's any chance in hell I can 1 rep max that right now. So, needless to say, I have to figure out how to get back there. Alright, doing another set over here. While I let the shoulders and triceps recover. Now I'm curious for everybody that's watching, as I should be concentrating on my form of breathing. You know, if you guys do, when you're doing your shoulders, if you do side raises, front raises, rear deltoids, shrugs, all in the same workout, or you do them on separate days. I like to, personally, I like to do them on separate days, though at times I wondered if I'd get a better workout for this exercise, if I would at least warm up with those weights a little bit, working the sides, maybe working the, maybe not the front so much, but just get a warm up doing side raises, maybe even doing shrugs beforehand. All right. I just need a little more time, folks. Maximum effort requires maximum recovery, right? So yeah, this weight has definitely gotten heavier. Now, if you go and check out my channel, it wasn't but a few weeks ago I tied my PR at this weight for reps, and now I'm down like 4 reps from that, right? So that's kind of scary. You lose. I've lost, depending on the time of the day, 16 to 18 pounds, and I would have to believe half of that was muscle and half of it was body fat. We have not lost that much around our waistline yet. But I've definitely cut out some stuff that, you know, surprisingly, well, over time, you know, if you just don't drink sodas, the energy drinks with sugar, you'll lose some weight from that. Plus, do yourself a favor, keep yourself away from getting diabetes or other problems. But it is difficult to do these workouts without having some kind of caffeine sometimes. Especially if you want to, you know, set a certain time of day, like I'm going to go do this, just so happened to be noon today. If you sit around all day and find that part of the day where you feel good, body feels good, when you feel rested, maybe you don't have to. Alright, so I'm switching over to the my Serapis 3-ply elbow sleeves. These provide a really good amount of tension, or compression, excuse me, on my elbows. And as I've lost weight, they're actually easier to get on. So, biceps smaller, get rid of some of that fat, some of the muscle. It definitely shrank. All right. So we'll see how many we can do here. I might, if I had a spotter, I would have tried to get 12. Now, my PR for that is 14 reps. I've done that twice on video, and I mean, we could eventually get back there. I put all the weight back on, but it is honestly, it's hard to be strong naturally if you don't eat a lot of food and keep eating it. Whew. So let's I think where I want to go next. And it's almost pointless to go super heavy, knowing that we're not going to be able to do a whole lot. Well, thanks for 2 likes and nope, nobody's watching now. I'm going to say thanks for 2 likes and the 1 person watching. So that was 185. We did, I think, 11 reps. If there are more people out there, I'd quiz the audience. When we do 195, 200, and we'll just do 200. 205 today is going to feel just a little bit too heavy. Hell, that felt pretty heavy. And I probably could have got a 12th rep, but okay, I'm gonna find some 5-pounder. So I haven't really used these weights. Got Signature Fitness. Got it off Amazon. I was buying a bunch of different weight plates, bumper plates, or steel plates, rubber coated plates, and bumper plates, and just gonna do some comparisons, weighing them, etc., etc. They don't get a lot of views, so turn out to be a waste of my money. Funny thing is, you know, like I said, this channel's not monetized. My other channels are monetized, and when you buy stuff for working out, it's definitely hit or miss. I've gotten some things where I've made decent money off of, like, let's say, case in point, 7-foot weeder bar that cost me $17. I made like, God, what did I make off that? 17, no, not 17 bucks. Cost probably $30. $77. This Hulk Fit 3x3 power cage I thought would be really good. It was the best deal on Amazon. They hadn't sold many of them, but if you're gonna buy a power cage, this thing's incredible. I think I bought it for $4.50. It is the best piece of equipment I've bought in here that's not a actual commercial piece of equipment. But it hasn't made squat. I do review after review. The other power cage over there's just about made its money back. Doing dumbbell reviews, doesn't make any money. The benches I bought, we have I forgot the name of the brand, but an almost commercial flat bench that has built-in spotters. That is Valor Fitness. Just got a couple things cheap about it. The posts, they should have went with a heavier duty steel in there. But that said, it hasn't made me any money. Matter of fact, I don't think there's much anything that's made me a lot of money fitness wise. It's kind of a waste of, besides doing workouts. I think my best workout maybe has made $5 after the fact. I'm going to work out anyway, so it works out to record something you're going to do. Why not make a little bit of money off if you can? Now, would I love to obviously be more popular, be in better shape, make a lot more money? Hell yeah. Oh, hey, Julian's back. All right, at least there's somebody to chat with. So I'm going to go with 200 there, Julian. I was going to quiz the audience. They wanted me to do 195, 200, or 205. So I just quizzed myself. And yeah, that rack. So do you have a power, if you're still on there, Julian, do you have a power cage or power rack at home? The other one I have in the background, which I forgot the name of it, you can just barely see it. It is 2x2. I would call that more of a, I mean, it's a power cage because it can be enclosed and you can squat inside of it, where a power rack is, you know, usually you do all your work outside of the cage. It may have, it may look, there's a hammer strength one that somewhat looks like that one, but it's got those support arms that come out, or the, what do they call them? Not support arms, safety bars, whatever. They come out off of it. But so these are obviously power racks because you can squat inside of them, you can do bench press inside of them. All kinds of things can be done inside of them. But the 2x2s, there's a lot of them that are like $200. And when you go to 3x3, you really notice a difference in how sturdy these things are. I mean, that shakes a little, but you don't really hear it. If I go over, I'm wearing a microphone. If I shake my 2x2, which I have a cell phone attached to it, you know, it moves all over the place, right? So, that is a huge difference, I think, in comfortability when you're lifting heavy. Now, am I lifting the kind of weight that, you know, these days that I need that kind of sturdiness? Not really, but it still gives you a warm and fuzzy. It makes you feel more comfortable. Especially like if I was to do standing military outside of this thing, I'm not as worried about the power cage falling over on top of me. Oh, here we go. You did get back to me. It's not a cage, I got a rack. Okay. I only have like 5 pins. So I honestly, I would like to have a power cage and a power rack because they're using the power rack for military press would be nice, standing that is, for doing shrugs, barbell shrugs. You can use those obviously for bench press, incline, depending on which one you have. All right, so we got we have 200 on here. Sorry. I don't know how many I'll get. We'll go with it. That was closer than I wanted it to be. Second there, I thought it wasn't going to be going back up. That, you know, obviously I got a live stream. It's kind of embarrassing to do that at the gym or on a live stream where you don't get the weight back up. I think we did that on one of the live streams. And kind of that made me chuckle a little bit. I'm going to drop down to, let's see here, folks. What do we want to do today? I talked about the microweights. I've been doing a lot of reps with 135. I'm going to put 137 on here. I have, as I mentioned earlier, with microweights, I've got quarters, I've got halves, I've got 3/4, and I've got a 1 pounder. I also, I don't know why I wasted my money, but Amazon has the 1.25? Is there 1.25 or 1.5 pound plates, which I went ahead and bought a pair of those. You'll see those on the channel in the future. Possibly the most expensive weight plate I bought per pound. But I thought, you know what? I just gotta have them. It feels like I'm completing all of the possible weight variations I could have. because I also have, we have 2.5 pound plates, but we have 2.75 pound plates. So I think I've got just about every lightweight plate you can get. And then I'm eventually going to buy the 15 pound Olympic plate, not the bumper plate, but the regular one. All right, let's see. I only got 6. Son of a bitch. All right, I thought I got one more than that. Hang it. Yeah, it takes time, man. I've seen my overhead press, military press, whatever you want to call this. I've seen it go up where my bench press has gone completely in the opposite direction. I could at one time, I don't know, I would say at least 75 pounds. Bench press 75 pounds more than I can now. But this exercise, I was probably 40, 50 pounds weaker. We'll say. That might not be accurate, but I didn't put a lot of effort in this because having big bulky shoulders didn't really help the bench press. But now I'd rather have the bigger deltoids. Alright, I'm doing the set down here. If I can find my 45 pounder. Yeah, I left off one of the reasons for my weight loss, besides the fact I needed to lose weight. I had a wisdom tooth removed, and holy cow. I think that's more the reason I got weaker. It is, when you're only eating soft, really soft food, and all that crap, it's tough. Let's see. Ever used chains? Definitely not on this exercise. I'll tell you what, I look at a lot of shit on Amazon, and I have looked at either buying, a set that has the chains or buying the collars. I think I have in my saved thing the collars. I was going to go to Home Depot and buy a chain. I don't know, it's probably not cheaper that way, but maybe it is. Be able to buy different variations of chain. But no, I besides doing it like trying to think of what gym had that. Definitely wasn't Planet Fitness. Somewhere in my past I've used chains, not recently, but you may see them on the channel eventually on bench press. Just instead of using the Mark Bell slingshot, using chains, because in a way, when you're at when you've got the bar at your chest, obviously it's lightest. When you lock out, it's lightest. Same thing with the slingshot, except the slingshot gives you a little bit more momentum. You definitely, if you want to increase your lockout, chain's probably the way to go, or heavy negatives with a spotter, or pin lifts, another way to do it. Alright, I just need another second or two. So I'd like to get somewhere over 20, alright? We did 135 last week, 20 something. My record for that's like 26 reps. And I'm not going to say form's going to be perfect. We may shortchange some lockouts. We may not bring it too far past our chin, whatever. It's all about speed sometimes. Let's see, Home Depot chains. They're not enough weight lifting. They're not weightlifting chains. Couldn't the weight be off a lot? I don't know. You know, I have scales. Obviously, I would weigh it. The thing, you know, I've almost thought. Let me show you something. Something else I thought about instead of those. This guy here, let me make sure the camera can see it. This is something I have for a neck workout, and if you attach that, so if you have the collar that has the loop on it or the hook, and you can attach a chain to it, at the bottom of this you could have a weight plate on there. So when you get to a certain sticking point, the weight gets heavier. Obviously it doesn't work as gradual as a chain, but that's another option. And then, hell, another thing to do, honestly, is have a fixed length of chain that's tied to different weights of chain, right? So you can, instead of spending a ton of money on different size chains, you might be able to get away with just buying a shorter chain. The part of the chain that's sitting on the floor when you're locked out, or no, excuse me. When you're locked out, you shouldn't have really any chain sitting on the floor. When you bring the weight down, the heaviest part of the chain should be sitting on the floor. You know, there's so many ways to do that, but I don't. I think it's one of those things where, you know, if there's a certain place in your bench press you really want to work on, that's where you would want the weight to adjust, right? So if you have no problem with the bottom end, it's all like that last 3 or 4 inches or something, maybe that's really when you want the chain to kick in. You can figure out how much everything's going to weigh, but I don't know. Maybe I'll eventually screw around with it. I think it would be a good thing just because it would fatigue the shoulders, or not the shoulders, the triceps a lot more, and probably get a little rest break when you bring the weight down a little. I don't know. Now this exercise, hell, I don't know. I've never seen anybody do chains with this, but you can see that's when I'm failing at this exercise. Definitely blocking out that last 4 to 5 inches. It's kind of a problem. Would be interesting. Alright, so I'm going to do my last set. This is 137, give or take. I do have, like I said, the 1 pound micro gains, micro weights on there, plus the cap 45s. This will be the last set of this. Yeah, I don't even know how long we've been going for. Julian, I appreciate you watching the video for as long as you have. All right. So we're going to do a bunch, hopefully. I got a good break in. Yeah, pollen's out there, and man, it's been messing with my sinuses. Making it a little harder to breathe today, I think. All right, here we go. I'm going a little wider on my grip. So if you compare it to the other videos, it definitely will not look like we're taking the weight up as far. Holy shit. I don't know how many that was. My wrist actually started hurting. Sucks when something like that happens because then you lose your focus. Whew. Okay, so let's see what John says. I think it would work if one of the chains was still on the ground for stability. Yeah. I think the thing would be you would maybe not go with a super heavy weight chain, but if I knew how high I got this thing, have a chain that reaches the, actually that's not true. I'm trying to think what I'm trying to say here. I'm a little winded. If I just wanted to work that last 4 or 5 inches of lockout, I would mark my, I think this would work. I would set the pins at the height. Let's see. So lockout's up here somewhere, 4 or 5 inches down. Make the chain reach from that distance to the ground, and then have the heavier chain that it's attached to, or whatever. Have different chain weights. Have that length only held. It only needs to be 4 or 5 inches, so you could definitely save some money buying very short chain of different weights, or getting back to the thing I was suggesting, which might be the best thing. This one might not work that good because I guess it'll sit on the floor good, but you could have a microweight sitting in this. You could have a 2.5 pound plate, 5 pound plate. I'm not going to say a 10 pound plate, that'd be ridiculous, but some smaller weight sitting on this. And as you get to that last 4 or 5 inches, or maybe that's more like 8 inches, you would have this sitting there, and then it would pull this up off the ground. That might be a good way to work on my lockout on this. But yeah. Anybody count that last set? People on bench only use 7 to 15%. So when you say 7 to 15%, I'm trying to think when I use change. So let's say I had 225 on there. Back in the day when I could do way over 20 reps of 225, I would put the chain on there, and the next thing you know, I wasn't doing anywhere near 20 reps. I guess if the chain weighs 7% of that, 15% would be that'd be pretty heavy chain. I don't know. Let me before I sign off, Amazon weightlifting chain. I should probably put in Olympic. Okay, so pair available 15, 25, 35, 45. So I remember correctly, one set is 15 pounds. But if the whole thing weighs 15 pounds, you've got to mathematically figure out some stuff, I guess. Like if it's all the way up in the air or locked out, whatever you have on the bar plus a chain should be additional 15 pounds. When it's on your chest, it is probably not half of that, but it might be, you know, 7.5 pounds or something. But okay, so if you had 45 on there with 225, shit, that would be a lot. $270. It's 270 pounds at lockout. Yeah, that'd be a huge jump up. But then again, you wouldn't be 225 once on your chest. It'd be more like 245. And then this, how long are these chains? Does it even say? So the cheapest one on here, I thought they said they had 15 pounders. Looks like they're out. Yeah, I think for this, you know, 25 pounds would be too much. No, they don't have the 15 pounders in. Huh. Alright, well maybe one of these days if you check back, I will have tried to do a chain lockout at the end. Until then, what do we got here? Okay, here you go. 15 pounds is 15% for 100, 7.5 for 200. Gotcha, that's the way you're going. Okay. But as I was saying, that's for both sides. Okay, so it's 7.5 pounds each side. And then when it's on, obviously, when it's on your chest, if you're bench pressing, it's probably half that amount of weight. There's feeder chains, which are like long to hook up to the heavy, short ones. Okay. Yeah, maybe I'll do a little more research. I think it starts with me getting the collars. I'd love to know where I got this one chain at because since I already have chain and I have a scale down here, I'm curious how much this chain weighs wherever I threw it. That doesn't weigh much. I'll throw this on the scale. So I have 1 pound of, I have a bunch of chain like this, but that's 1 pound right there. So I would probably need twice that length to do overhead press. And then that would only be 2 pounds. With a pound sitting on the floor, that wouldn't be enough. Double that for both sides. I'd probably feel it. I've seen the ones on, I think, M15s are per side. Oh. Well, that would make a difference because let me see here. Yeah, they don't have the 15 pound in stock. That would be my, let me see here. Item weight 25 pounds. So if you click on the 25 pound one, it just says item weight 25 pounds. One pair available in 15, 25, 35. So yeah, you get a pair, but it only weighs 25 pounds. So it looks like it's split. 12.5 pounds each side. Otherwise, they would charge you more for shipping, I have a feeling. But sold in pairs. Huh. Well, the worst thing I can do is buy a set and see how it goes. Does it say how long the chain is? I have all these whatchamacallits, the connectors. Drawing a blank. I have a ton of these things. So we're good. We would be good to connect heavier chain if we wanted to, or longer chain. They show this guy in the video, or not in the video, in the on Amazon using it for squatting. But trying to find the length of this thing is just not happening. Huh. All right, well. Oh, wait a second, what? I've seen the one on Amazon, I think them were 15R per side. 200 overhand press, I would think you'd want around 25 pounds in total. Whew, that's a lot, man. Like when I could, when I could do 225, 6 reps, that would be pretty cool, because maybe I would actually, I should be able to do, if I had 200 on there and I add 25, I should get at least 6 reps if I'm, feeling okay. But right now, me putting 25 additional pounds on 200, that would not be so good. I don't know. I mean, obviously I would get multiple ones at some point. Yeah, I don't know why it looks so hard to find out what the freaking length is on here. Oh, here you go. Well, it says 46-inch length by 46-inch width. Okay, so there's no way it's 46 inches wide. If they're both, I would assume they're both 46 inches. You wouldn't have one that long for a bench, would you? I don't have a tape measure on me. Bench, it sits 15, 17 inches off the ground. Chest is probably, I don't know, 10 to 12 inches off of that. And then lock out of your arms, 20. Yeah, maybe it would be 46 inches long. So that would be way too short for this. I am 6'1", and so that would put it at roughly around, I think, 5 foot, where the bar's sitting right now. But it might work out a little slightly longer if I used an extension piece. Either way, I'm going to make something work. Well, Julian, I appreciate it. I'm going to get going. Thanks for joining the live stream. 46 inches wide, yeah. I just forget there's a little delay on the videos. Take care, everybody. Thanks for checking out the video. So that was almost 2 hours worth of credit there. Yeah. Neat bid. myself. Oh, I forgot about the other camera. So that was over an hour. Heard all that extra nonsense at the end. Appreciate you coming out. We'll do some hammer curls later probably. I don't think I'm gonna live stream, but we'll make a separate video.